for this evening's presentation. You're going to see a lot of surprises running from the back to the front here today.
Well, the field is rolling. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineup of the Thompson 150 presented by Flow Sports. Stay with us. The flag is next. Well, field rolls through turns 3 and 4, getting ready for their opening pace lap of tonight's event. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's Thompson 150, presented by Flow Sports. On the pole tonight, it'll be Patrick Emmerling from Orchard Park, New York, his 4th career pole. He'll line up alongside Craig Lutz, a 2-time Thompson Speedway Motorsports race winner.
Let's take a look at row number 2, Justin Bonsignore. Been there and done that. The Phoenix Communication, number 51 from Holtzville, will start in position number 3. And the gentleman that just won at Lancaster, driving the AP Marcotte and Sons, Andrew James Interiors car. From Northampton, Pennsylvania, car number 64 for Austin Beers.
The 89 of Matt Swanson will start 5th. Anthony Sesley, a part-time runner, he'll start in 6th.
Let's go back to row number 4. John McKennedy, a former champion in the Christopher's towing car, will start in 7th. Tyler Ripkema, who thinks he has a plan for this event, the Musco Lighting car, will start in the 8th position.
Matt Hirschman has never won a race here in Wheel Modified Tour competition. He'll start 9th. Chase Dowling, 3rd at New Hampshire this year. He'll start 10th.
And then we go to row number 6, Tommy Catalano. We know the Catalano success story. Car 54 will start in 11th. Ronnie Silk will drive the Blue Mountain Machine Future Homes car from the 12th starting position.
Doug Kobe is back. Tommy Baldwin, 7 New York, 13th. Jake Johnson, he won Monadnock. He'll start 14th.
Let's go back to the 8th row. Stephen Kopsick is here with the 21. Kyle Bonsignore will start alongside.
Eric Goodale is a World Series winner, rolls off 17th alongside Andrew Krause. He's back in the 24 car.
This gentleman's raced in every division you can imagine. Car number 00, Andy Jankowiak from Tonawanda will start in 19th. Trevor Catalano back in 20th.
Dave Zapienza starts 21st. Woody Pitcat 22nd. Tyler Catalano 23rd. 24th for Tim Conley.
Then we go to Roger Turbush starting back in 25th. Ken Heggie will be back in the 26th position, and Melissa Fifield will pick up at the rear of the field.
Let's go down to pit road, join the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Here's Jesse Punch.
Doug Kobe and Tommy Baldwin Racing are running a special paint scheme here tonight, a tribute to the late, great Bugsy Stevens, one of the most iconic modified drivers of all time. That's 7NY, honoring the 3-time champion. Doug Kobe, a 6-time series champion himself, says Bugsy is the man. Any modified driver knows just how important he is to this series. And from one champ to another, it is an honor to race this paint scheme tonight.
It'll be fun to watch Doug Kobe in that paint scheme here tonight, try to navigate through the field. He'll start back mid-pack in the 13th spot for the 7 New York. Ben, let's take a look at the race analysis for tonight's event. It'll be 150 laps. We'll look at the keys of the race to start off with. Tire strategy tonight. We alluded to that, the options for the teams. Notebook history. This is a track, 154 races strong. It takes experience generally to win. You have to know what this track is going to do.
And most important at this particular racetrack is late race restarts. We've seen that change the entire complexion of the event. Those are the keys. Who's going to be able to unlock them to give us what we need to see? From the starter's stand, clench yellow flag is in hand, and you can see the field of 2x2 formation about ready to get ready and fire them up.
Race analysis for tonight's event here at Thompson Speedway. 153 laps, 73 degrees. Really no chance of rain tonight. 1 fuel stop and 7 change tires are the options that the teams have. And again, that's the standard allotment that they get for every Wheel and Modified Tour race as they get ready to go. It'll be 1 lap to go when they come by next time by to fire them off. Patrick Emmerling, and Craig Lutz on the front row. And this should be a barn burner. This August race always has a level of intensity that is unmatched at any other event throughout the season.
Sure has. And of course, remember, Patrick Emmerling has come close, but he has not visited victory lane this season. He has been in striking distance each and every time. He's tired of being a bridesmaid. He wants to be the man here at Thompson for today's event. Adjustment of the lineup as things get crossed over and crossed up. As we look at the field, as we're about ready to send them down into turn number 1. Remember, the second row in the competition, Justin Bonsignore, of course, and Austin Beers. It was well known that at Lancaster, Bonsignore had a tough day at the office, as the old saying goes, Joe. But for Austin Beers, it was a run that he will remember for quite some time. Here they come. Again, red light still flashing from Whelen Engineering on the backstretch here, as now the pace car diving to the center of pit road.
We are ready for the start of the Thompson 150 presented by Flow Sports. Patrick Emmerling, the pole sitter, to the outside lane, will bring the field off turn 4 and into turn 1 in the opening circuit. He'll lead them down to turn 1. Lutz in second is a battle from third on back to the back straightaway.
No surprises there. The outside traditionally has been always the quickest on the start. Emmerling is the guy in command, but already things are getting doubled up at the battle for the top 10. Side-by-side racing further back in the field. No one stepping out of line. Check out the top 10 positions, Joe. First side-by-side battle looks like John McKennedy for a while in the number 79 car. And there is Stephen Kopczyk, 21 to the inside of your screen.
Stephen Kopczyk making just his third start in the Whelen Modified Tour, but he has a lot of experience here at this racetrack in weekly divisions. He's been victorious before, and he's a very good crew chief. He knows how to get a car to come around this racetrack. He's got a teammate tonight in Anthony Cecily. They both run out of the Wannick Motorsports team. Cecily qualified 6th, but Stephen Kopczyk's got some work to do. He qualified deep in the field tonight, back in 15th.
He was quick in the first round of practice, but that's not been the story here. Meanwhile, he shuffled back on the inside. Green and white car to the right of your screen. That is Andy Jankowiak. Directly behind him, you saw some sparks. That was the chassis bottoming out on the 58 machine of Eric Goodale. Now, Kopczyk tries to get back up in the lane directly in front of Goodale. That battle is going on currently in the mid-pack of cars. Doug Kobe was once a mentor to Stephen Kopczyk and Chase Dowling. That was years back. That's no longer the case. They learned their lessons well.
Get a look at the 46 car of Craig Lutz, who's riding in second. He's had great days here at Thompson, a 2-time winner here at this racetrack, but they have struggled this year to put the entire race together. They've been good in the first 20, 25 laps, like they are here tonight, and then they would start to fade a little bit. As crew chief Doug Ojeko said earlier tonight, we need to be able to get this car for the A segment, the B segment, and the C segment with the speed that we have at the front. If we can do that, then we'll have a competitive race car here tonight. Only time will tell if they've made the proper adjustments on that car to be able to make it last 150 laps.
Already you can see that the pressure is being applied by young and talented Austin Beers. Now, Austin Beers, he's pumped up. He's just a youngster. He had a success at Lancaster in a spectacular race run there for him. And then Justin Bonsignore, the Ryan Stone prepared. The Massa car is right behind them in line. No one is stepping out of line this early in the event. Now, just as I say that, here comes Matt Swanson, the Cervelo Auto Machine, pressuring the number 19 car, and that is a good battle shaping up there for the 5th and 6th position.
Anthony Cecily in the orange and black number 19, the 89, the white machine, Matt Swanson. In his time in the Whelen Modified Tour, he's had strong runs at this racetrack. He's always liked it, qualified well here again tonight inside the top 5. That white 89 has chosen select races to compete in this year, and when he's come out, he's been strong. Justin Bonsignore in the 51 car, a 13-time winner here, second behind Mighty Mike Stefanik, who's got 15 wins here at this track. And Bonsignore, he has been a team that has tried to figure out that new strategy. We've put a lot of effort and discussion over the last 3 races about that new tire strategy, and this team hasn't adapted to it as well as we're used to seeing them dominate races and lead races out front. Will he be able to turn that around tonight in one of his best tracks?
You know, they have been working exceptionally hard on that, as you said, and Ryan Stone would be the first to admit that they can't quite figure out the magical formula for this one. Speaking of magical formulas, so far, Patrick Emmerling is out in front, and he's got a pretty good margin between him and Lutz, consistently staying the same. As you look back through the field here, pretty much everything is settling in single file in the competition here, but that's not going to last for very long. Cecily really has been turning some heads from the minute he unloaded that race car, Joe, in the paddock area here. It was strong, it was quick, and it looks like it's even getting quicker as he runs in the tire tracks of Justin Bonsignore. And to do that here at Thompson is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, Anthony Cecily over the past couple of years on the Tour has had some very solid runs, and he's showing that early on with a top 5 effort in the tire tracks of Justin Bonsignore here as they roll on through. You could already see those right front brake rotors starting to glow a little bit on both the 19 and the 89 car. Use a lot of brake here, Ben. This is a big racetrack.
Sure is.
5/8 mile oval, and there's 26 degrees of banking in the corner. You see the preferred line, turns 3 and 4 in the middle of the racetrack. You go a little bit higher in turns 1 and 2. This is a really tricky racetrack to get around as Swanson tries to make a move to the inside, but doesn't have enough speed to make it happen.
Does not happen there, but directly behind them, there is another battle that's going on that was equally as impressive. Working their way towards the front of the field, Cecily is still running in the 5th spot. Swanson is 6th, and Tyler Ripkema. Now, Tyler Ripkema was really looking forward to coming back to Thompson Speedway. Why is that? He's run exceptionally well here before, and he felt that today might be the day.
Yeah, that team has been running better here, and they like this racetrack. He tends to like the big wide open tracks. That's what he grew up on. McKennedy in the 79. He works to the inside, trying to pick up that spot on the 32 of Tyler Ripkema. This is a battle for the 7th spot midway down the back straightaway. McKennedy is a former champion of the series 2 years ago, back in 2022, and he's been running part-time this year.
Certainly has. Last Sunday, he won an event at Lee USA in the open competition events. Chase Dowling is in the 44, the Tenio machine. He is also right there. That car was 3rd fastest in today's early practice. This is just the 2nd time for Dowling behind the wheel for this team. They've had all top drivers. Bobby Santos, absolutely one of the best in the business. Top shelf wheel man. They've had Doug Colby in the car and Chase Dowling. And Chase will, it looks like we've got a situation. It appears that we've got a car up. It is the 36 of Dave Zapienza. Zapienza carrying the traditional colors of, we can see it's a flat right rear on the Zapienza machine. Traditional colors of Teddy Christopher when he drove. And we can also see a heartbreaker there. He's been out for most of this season. Was looking forward to coming back and have a tremendous run here today. So his day is not over as he's quickly heading down on pit road.
He's got a silhouette of 10 Christopher inside that 36 number,
does.
And you can see it up close when you see the car back in the paddock area and as it drives past the camera. So the right rear tire down. First caution of the night is out on lap number 20 of the Thompson 150 presented by Flow Sports. So far, it has been all Patrick Emmerling out in front. Dave Zapienza has brought that car down to the attention of his crew, and they'll go around and see if they can change that right rear tire and get it back out. Doesn't look like there's any other damage, Ben, and he didn't get into the outside wall up there in turns 3 and 4. They'll get this tire swapped around, and I think Dave Zapienza should be okay to continue on.
Yeah, it looks like you can see exactly what you said, Joe. It is just a right rear. They're bolting on new right rear, and hopefully they will be able to get him back out. It doesn't appear any damage done. As we're looking at things, and kind of a long, lengthy period of time to get this wheel back on. Of course,
yeah, you don't want to lose another lap. He already lost one out in the racetrack. The pace car coming off turn 4. He's going to try to beat that pace car back out, so that way he's still 1 lap down to give him an opportunity to get that back if there's another caution.
Ken Heggie is down on pit road, and he's looking to return. Here they come into pit road.
Now take a look at some of the cars that are pitting, right? Ripkema was battling for the 7th position. You've got Tyler Ripkema on pit road. Doug Kobe is there, Steven Kopchik, Kyle Bonsignor, Andrew Kraus, all down on pit road getting adjustments along with Woody Pitkat and some others. And this is part of that strategy that we talked about, Ben. Not many taking tires, but because they know there's more opportunity to come down pit road, you'll see more teams make an early stop to make their car better for later in the race.
Certainly is. And they're just making a quick adjustment, checking on things, seeing how it plays into the plan. There's Doug Colby following the Andrew Kraus machine back out of the racetrack, the Bugsy Stevens tribute car as well. Car number 88 also heading back out of pit road. Woody Pitkat was one of the cars, Roger Turbush, and even the 4 car of Tim Conley came down on pit road. And there is one of the Catalano cars, this one being the 84 car of Tyler Catalano. 2 heads back out.
So Catalano will rejoin at the tail end of the field. We worked under the caution flag here early on. Kyle Bonsignor. Now, interesting strategy here with Cam McDermott and Kyle Bonsignor, because they did a similar thing early on in the race at Lancaster, where they came down pit road and were not afraid to make adjustments. They did a similar at Monadnock Speedway, where they were on pit road early, and at the end of the race, they were a factor in the game. And so it'll be curious to see if that same mentality, that same approach will continue on with this 22 team, and that these small adjustments they make early on pay those dividends at the end of the race.
It certainly is. And of course, you said it before that Cam McDermott is a former champion in his own right of modified racing here at Thompson, and he helps out, well, 3 or 4 different drivers in different teams with different race cars, and that's a pretty amazing accomplishment to do these days, because everybody's got their own style of getting around on their favorite racetracks, and for some, Thompson is just that.
Well, let's take a look at this, Ben. One thing that we should bring to our attention here, now we're under the caution flag, is something that was said at the drivers' meeting earlier today, and that was a focus on restarts. NASCAR made it very clear today, restarts have been something of question this year at the Whelen Modified Tour, and they said, you know what, there are no more warnings. You start at that double red line off turn number 4, about where the cars are now, and between the single red line that comes up onto the front straightaway, the leader has to fire first and start that race. There will be no warnings, and they will give you a black flag. The penalty for a restart violation, you have to do a drive-through under green flag conditions. And so as we get ready for this restart here in a few moments, we've got to keep an eye on that, because NASCAR, again, issued a very stern warning to the teams earlier today.
Certainly did. Jesse Little is a new guy in the block, but that doesn't mean competitors are going to take advantage of him, I'll tell you that. He's been around the sport. He understands the importance of a good, clean start, and that's what we're looking for here. And he does mean business. He's not a guy that's going to look the other way and say, I didn't see it. He's going to definitely make the right call. Patrick Emmerling has been the star so far as the laps are continuing under yellow, this time for a minor situation. Dave Zapienza with car number 36 was the car that brought out the caution as he tried to get the car down out of harm's way and couldn't do it. So, complexion of the event has changed just a bit as a readjustment of the lineup. Patrick Emmerling, Greg Lutz is going to be in the front row. Austin Beers, Justin Bonsignor, Cecily Swanson, John McKennedy, and Chase Dowling.
Field rolls off turn 2. Race leader is Patrick Emmerling, so he can choose which lane he wants to start in, top or bottom. That's the only lane that can choose where they want to start. Everybody else is odd numbers bottom, even numbers to the top. The preferred lane we talked about is the outside on the restarts here at Thompson, because of the momentum you can carry into turn 1, and everybody like Justin Bonsignor on back can take advantage of that. Off turn number 4, waiting for the green flag. Keep an eye on that restart zone as they roll up onto the main straightaway. Here goes Emmerling. Green flag is out.
No question about it. Emmerling was up on the wheel, and it worked to the advantage of the man that was setting in second. Down the back straightaway, working his magic, it is Justin Bonsignor. Then we've got what's really starting to happen just out of the top 7. Moving quickly to the inside is Cecily, but here comes Chase Dowling. Dowling moves now into the top 6.
Things starting to get dicey a little bit deeper in the back. You saw contact between John McKennedy and Anthony Cecily on the back straightaway. And Cecily had his hands full after they got under the green flag. That has settled down. Here's Jake Johnson diving to the inside of Ron Silk mid-pack as Emmerling leads him back across the line and into turn 1.
No question, Jake Johnson is trying to make a move to the inside, and he's trying his best to get towards the front of the field. Leader out in front. Margin still remains the same. Different player in second. It is Justin Bonsignore. Craig Lutz. Now, we're looking at the leader heading down into turn 1. Bonsignore is still there. We're going to look a little further back in the field and see if we can see what's happening, because there was some good racing going on. Things start to settle back in, Joe, and nobody's stepping out of line, but look who's running on the bottom.
Yeah, it's John McKennedy. He continues to try to make that inside lane work. He's probably one of the most racy drivers we have seen so far. At the top of your frame, you saw that yellow number 60 step out of line. Matt Hirschman, who has been pretty quiet in his career here at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park, is mired mid-pack. But good action throughout the field. There's the 16 car of Ron Silk, who started 13th tonight. Has really not been able to gain ground. There's Hirschman.
No, Ronnie Silk is up to the 11th position. Jake Johnson is in 12th, and Matt Hirschman is in 13th. Now we've got some good action going on. Doug Kobe, white number 7 New York, to the outside, trying to follow Jankowiak in the upper lane. It pays off, it works. Catalano has to settle back in formation there.
The risk of pitting, though, right? Now all of a sudden, Doug Kobe, who had a race car that was mid-pack earlier in the day today, has to fight through all of this traffic, and he's back in 16th now, so he gave up a ton of position. So was that risk first the reward of having a little bit of a better race car? He's got to work through traffic. More things can happen. You can see that he's in a hornet's nest. He's been able to clear Jankowiak now and get some space, but still tight racing back there that Kobe's going to have to navigate through.
Certainly is. Kobe continues to try to get away in that pack of cars. Catalano has been able to follow through in pursuit. Meanwhile, there is a good battle going. Ripkema moves to the inside of Jankowiak, and then Andrew Kraus, the 24 car to the right of your screen. He's trying to follow Ripkema to the front of this field. That's not going to be an easy task. And that orange car behind them is Woody Pitcat.
Andrew Kraus in the 24, still working the bottom of Andy Jankowiak, who has driven all types of race cars this season. ARCA Menard Series full-time. He's driven ROC here in the Wheel and Modified Tour, Dirt Midgets, Dirt Modifieds, you name it. He's been in it. He's been a very busy driver this year. It's been fun to have him over the past couple of races here in the Steve Mendoza-owned 00 that works out of the Richie Evans shop up in Western New York, and that car is still fielded from that very same shop that Richie launched his career from.
Sure is. Very interesting, and he's a personality and a character, and that's what we need. Let's go back to the front of the field, and Justin Bonsignore with the 51 car was testing the waters. But Patrick Emmerling has been as smooth as he can be up front. But for how long? You know, here at Thompson, there has always been a move that they call the slide. When a driver drives down into turn number 1 on the bottom, lets the car free up and slides up, literally forcing the guy next to him on the top side out of the groove. We haven't seen that on the Wheel and Modified Tour, but don't think it can't happen, because it can, Joe.
Yeah, that's a move that you'll see toward the end of the race. Those late race restarts that we talked about in the key to the race, you've got to be able to protect against that. And if you're aggressive enough to make it work and slide somebody up the racetrack, the old hip check, then you can go ahead and take advantage of that if you do it the right way. Out front, Patrick Emmerling. This car appeared in the Wheel and Modified Tour just a year ago, and it was Eric Burt that was driving it that day. Matt Hirschman on the move, picks up a spot over Eric Goodale. You know, Ben, with all the success that Matt Hirschman has had, it's hard to believe that this today, his 28th start here at Thompson, he has not gotten a victory at such a storied racetrack when he has got just about every victory on his shelf and every box checked. But Thompson is one that's absent for Matt Hirschman.
You know, when you look back into the record books, this track has cost him a great deal. Years back when he was driving for Wayne Darling and Ed Bennett, he was in a shot for the title, but unfortunately he came up a little bit short in their for the competition there. Let's see what's happening as we look there, and he is trying to get, well, into contention with the number 3 car that is directly in front of him. That's Jake Johnson, hunted down by the number 60 car.
His lap times are pretty good as well, even while he's passing cars. Matt Hirschman, you can clearly see, is closing in on Jake Johnson. He's one of the only cars that's been able to drive away after making a pass, and it didn't take him very long to track him down. We talked about the highlight at the start of the race. Notebook, well, there's nobody that has a better notebook than Matt Hirschman. I would argue whether or not he's got a great notebook here at Thompson compared to maybe a Ryan Stone or a Phil Moran or others, but Matt Hirschman, he knows the notebook, and he knows what racetracks do as the race goes on. You could never count him out, no matter what the track is.
You certainly can, and of course, he is just riding out the first half of this event, and that's what he's well known for. But when it comes time in the closing laps, you can almost bank on that number 60 car, the elite machine, to be in contention there. Things a little bit behind them is a side-by-side battle, which was short-lived. Everybody starts to settle in, and that, of course, was Eric Goodale, Doug Colby, and Tyler Ripkema. Good racing there as well. Yeah,
Goodale now in the past couple of laps has lost 2 position. He's a former winner. Back in 2022, he won the World Series of Speedway racing here at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. His son Wyatt won a Bandolero race on Saturday night at Riverhead Raceway. His first career victory as his sons begin to race at their home track at Riverhead. And that's a track that we'll be racing the Wheel Modified Tour on Saturday night, September 14th. And he's looking forward to getting back to his home track.
Certainly is, and you can understand why. Earlier we saw sparks beneath the Goodale machine. That is the frame rail literally bottoming out on the racetrack, and that upsets the race car. That actually slows it down. But it is not slowing now because he is down underneath Doug Colby. Now, Colby stated before, and there's that spark we were just talking about, Colby stated before that he has not been able to get totally comfortable in Tommy Baldwin's number 7 car. He says there are times when he feels strong and the car runs good, but he just can't seem to find the sweet spot in the 7 New York.
Well, there's a lot going on there, too. You remember Glenn Dixon, a key part of their team, passed earlier this year unexpectedly. Scott Allen, one of the key crew members of the team, is not spending as much time in North Carolina with other commitments. And Tommy Baldwin, who really runs a lot of the operation for the NASCAR Cup Series side, with Rick Ware Racing. There's a lot of change going on with that 7 New York team. And of course, you've got the next generation of drivers coming up through, Luke Baldwin and his success in modified racing down south. There's just a lot in flux in that 7 New York team and a lot of change going on. And that's something that is certainly hard to navigate for anybody, even a veteran team like them, as they continue to field cars here in the Wheel Modified Tour. It's been great to have them. Great to have them with the Bugsy Stevens scheme as well, who we honored earlier this year at Seekonk. But Kobe's got some work to do in that 7 New York. He's back in 13th.
And you can see that car drifting up, running real high on the racetrack. He's unable to keep the car down. Goodale is still right there, but back up front, leader still remains. Patrick Emmerling, Justin Bonsignore, currently running in the 2nd position. And the leaders are coming up on lap traffic pretty soon here, and that could be a game changer in this one. But you see the margin right there, perfect shot of it between 1st and 2nd. And that is about 5/10 between the two. Now, good side-by-side battle there for a while, with Emmerling going to the outside of the lapped automobile, and with him comes Justin Bonsignore, almost there. He now sneaks on by.
Yeah, Roger Turbush in the 88 down to the bottom lane of the track. Here comes Craig Lutzow. As this run has gone on, he has started to close in on Justin Bonsignore. Now we're 20 laps away from halfway. Their goal tonight was to continue to get their car through the A segment. We're through that. We're a third in. Now we're into the B segment. That car continues to be strong for Craig Lutz. So the changes that they have made, at least so far, seem to be working to their advantage as they start to reel in Justin Bonsignore through this lap traffic.
Certainly is the story, and you can see exactly that. He's getting closer and closer within striking distance of Justin Bonsignore. Now, it wasn't very long ago that Bonsignore was testing the waters with Patrick Emmerling. That's all changed. Look at Lutz going to try to make as much momentum as possible in the upper lane coming off turn 4. But just as the door opens, Bonsignor will close it.
So Bonsignor is running a lower lane on both turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 compared to what we see out of Patrick Emmerling and Craig Lutz. Tells us that he's searching to get a little bit more grip out of that race car by running that lower lane. How about Ron Silk? He's going to lose 2 positions here as Jake Johnson and Matt Hirschman both get underneath him on the backstretch.
That moves him out of the top 10. He was running in the 10th position at the time. Now he drops back to the 12th position. He's struggling
Trouble
just a
turn
bit.
2, the 82 car of Woody Pitkat has spun. His car stops to the inside of the racetrack. He's got it rolling once again on the back straightaway, but it brings us under the caution flag for the second time tonight. 59 laps complete in the Thompson 150 presented by Flow Sports. There you see Woody Pitkat. He's able to continue on. I don't think he got too much damage, although that white wall on that right rear tire tells us he might have caught that outside wall or at least another car before he went spinning.
You know, we talked about this car. It was for sale. Danny Watts decided to retire from the competition. He did not get any takers on it. Then he got a call from Woody Pitkat and company and decided to put this deal together. The Gunsmoke Stables people behind him. His first outing wasn't a bad run at all, Joe, if you remember the run for car number 82, but he was able to be a factor. Woody looking to move back and become a regular on the Whelen Modified Tour in 2025.
This racetrack has been kind to him too. He's a late model champion here. He's what was a Sunoco SK type modified champion here at this racetrack back in the 2016 season. And now with that 82 car, I think he's very excited about all the opportunities there. We've got a break coming up. We'll step aside. Pit stops coming up next from Thompson.